Hieronymus Bosch was not the only artist painting demons. Even Michelangelo did a painting of St. Anthony, where he's being lifted up into the air by grotesque monstrosities. Both artists come from a much longer tradition, the weird world of medieval Christian art. Delving into illustrated Bibles and early animal encyclopedias reveals a whole collection of strange and frightening imagery, horrific descriptions of hell, grotesque monsters, and demons galore, all of which predate Bosch and his Renaissance contemporaries. Most well-known painting, The Garden of Earthly Delights. It's a triptych with 3 panels depicting 3 unusual scenes. The first, on the left here, is based on the biblical story of Adam and Eve. Set in the Garden of Eden, we can see familiar animals like elephants and giraffes, but just below them is a freakish bipedal dog creature. Over here, a frog-mouthed bird eats a toad, and emerging out of this pool are hideous multi-headed reptiles. Even in paradise, there is already a sense of discord, anticipating the horrors that lie ahead.
As we move, sociologically, by BBB design, back into a groupthink-shaped medieval/dark ages type control/feudalism, what Tony Blair in Rome in 2009 called a Catholicism leading globalism, Catholic Fourth Reich. We need to be aware, not just of the rise of superstition, but demons, very sexual demons that will drive this. You will see a rise in cruel unnatural demands, planned systems of sacrifice including your children to their gods. In Cat Stevens' T for Tillerman album, songs like Where Do the Children Play, Miles from Nowhere, Father and Son, Longer Boats are pleasure songs, songs of sacrifice. Then we have LCD Sound Items Tonight, and Paul Simon's Sound of Silence, a song about the sacrifices of censorship, being silenced, and the neon lights of the gods of Thoth, of Baal Hammon and Tanit that will require more perverted forms of voyeuristic sacrifices. Remember, as Bosch was painting the paintings, he was painting the real spiritual realities of what he saw in people around him, LCD induced or not, while at the same time Michelangelo was painting the church's version of reality in the Sistine Chapel, something even he resented as to hypocrisy.
The middle panel is a non-biblical scene featuring hundreds of naked people frolicking in a lush garden. Strange organic structures dominate the background, giving an otherworldly feel to it. The level of detail is astonishing, but highlights include people crawling into this giant egg, a multi-legged dancing owl, and finally, a cute cat-like unicorn. The inhabitants of this panel seem to be indulging in acts of lust and gluttony, 2 of the 7 deadly sins.
In the center part of the ceiling, right above our heads, almost as a warning, Michelangelo describes the history of humanity from creation to fall. The way to salvation is clear. Man has only to choose. At the center, God looks upward with his back to us and suggests the only way to admire this masterwork, to immerse oneself completely in the fresco until one becomes part of it.
The last panel is a disturbing picture of hell, with all kinds of eccentric and horrific punishments. At the bottom, we have a pig dressed up in a nun's habit. It's attempting to get someone to sign a pact with the devil. This bird demon consumes its helpless victims and then defecates them into the cesspool below.
Today we see the ghoulish demons clearly in the BBB, WEF and Catholic Church and state agenda and propaganda as a Sistine Chapel quasi-religious administrative state versus the reality of what we not only see with our own eyes, but deeper, to the eyes that really see, Luke 10 verses 23 to 24. These eyes, like Bosch's images, see the freakish scowls painted in his third panel. That are the products of the fusion of the criminal and the artistic, S. Delaney, the Other Side of the Wind, Orson Welles, and The Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd, but clearly not just in people in power like Hunter Biden. In reality, the eyes that see will see well beyond Hunter's and Biden's fusion of the criminal and the artistic stylized voyeuristically by their Hollywood production teams and these different set of lawyers, Obama to Putin. From the January 6th committee to the protection of Biden, the third panel of Bosch is seen. You will also see these creatures of hell in Schumer, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, Karl Rove, G.W. Bush, Obama, Lindsey Graham.
Over here, we have a demonic choir master leading a dirge, crucifying a man on a giant lyre. It also appears to be tattooing music onto someone's backside. Some have actually put this to music, and it sounds a bit like this. Dominating the centre, we have the so-called Tree Man, named after his stumpy legs. Some believe that this face is a self-portrait of the artist.
As we know, this depravity extends well beyond the boundaries of Epstein Island. Hell is now presenting itself to us in a siren song with this new IRA and KKK. And their plantation Hunger Games, Ballad of the Seagulls and the Snakes. The Constitution is on its way out for the new borderless USSR United States of stakeholder republics and stakeholder activism that will require the middle class sacrifices towards a Catholic Fourth Reich led feudalism with their outcomes-based financial system. Unless you have eyes to see, you will not see this, as they have stage managed both their sin and religious talk. I will explain this journey from the Ballad of Bosch in the third panel, and the notes in his drawings to our ballads from the time just before MLK was assassinated in 1968 till now.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. Think it's time we start. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
From the late 60s on, all generations have left their hearts lagging behind, conditioned in culture to the pursuit of the pleasure mind and its longer boats through the first windmill drugs, sex, rock and roll, and Hollywood's propaganda. All this following did was cloud the mind and damage the heart, for the mind must always return to the heart even if you try to encase it in a locker. You cannot escape this, just as you cannot escape death. Bury the heart, leave it behind, you will still have to give an account first to the mind's return and then to God. Today we are in the phase of the mind's conditioning of the witch hunt second windmill of reactionary feminism, gay gender bending activism led by a quasi-religious homosexual/pedophile carrion thing elite. Ch.P. Lovecraft. The Outsider.
Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how shalt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask him a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good gifts unto them that ask him? Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Enter ye in at the strait gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat, because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life. And few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles? A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit.